If you've ever looked at a self-made millionaire and just wondered, how? I mean, how did they actually do that?
Not the movie version.
No, not the movie version. The real, the repeatable steps. Well, this deep dive is for you. We've gone through the sources, we've analyzed the habits, and our mission today is to give you the blueprint for lasting financial success.
And lasting is the absolute key word there. I mean, the sources, they all confirm it. Real financial independence, it's a marathon.
A very long one.
It's built on these incredibly disciplined habits and, honestly, some painfully boring decisions made over and over again for years. You're looking for a compounding path, not a lottery ticket.
Exactly. So we're unpacking 7 proven paths that lead to real wealth and, just as importantly, separating them from all the get-rich-quick noise out there. We want to give you a shortcut to understanding the how.
Okay, let's jump right in then. If building wealth is like building a house, these first 2 paths are the foundation. Without them, everything else just crumbles.
All right, so let's get into the first one, which is maybe the hardest truth. The foundation is simply spending less than you earn.
Sounds so simple.
It sounds simple, but it requires this countercultural discipline that most people just can't maintain. The research shows that self-made millionaires, even the high earners, live surprisingly modest lives.
The data really backs this up. This is where the whole game is won or lost. They budget, they track every penny, and they actively fight that pressure to, look wealthy.
Right.
One finding that always gets people is the car. The sources show the average self-made millionaire is driving a vehicle that's maybe 3 years old.
And it's not a Lamborghini.
Not at all. It's a Toyota, a Ford. They rarely spend over $40,000. They just don't leverage their future for a status symbol today.
That's the whole thing, isn't it? Prestige versus practicality, and the biggest enemy of that is something we call lifestyle inflation. Can you break that down? Because it is the quiet killer.
It really is. It's when your spending just automatically rises to meet your new income. So let's say you get a $10,000 raise.
Okay.
If that money immediately goes to a bigger apartment, a fancier car lease, more dinners out, well, your ability to build wealth is still zero.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing. You have to keep the same spending habits you had before the raise. That surplus, that gap between earning and spending, has to get wider. And look, you can't control what you don't measure, so tracking is everything.
And before you can even use that surplus, that fuel, to build your wealth engine, it has a more important job first.
It does. Removing the anchors.
Yes.
Which brings us to the second foundational path. Getting rid of high interest, bad debt. I mean, debt that is actively working against you.
We're talking credit cards, consumer loans.
Payday loans, the really nasty stuff.
The math on this is just brutal. And this is where we need a little tough love, right? If you're carrying a balance at, say, 20% interest, you need to find an investment with a guaranteed 20% return just to break even. And that does not exist in the real world, not safely.
Absolutely not. Think of it like trying to run a marathon with a 50-pound weight on your back.
You're just wasting energy.
All your energy is spent just trying to stay in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So your number one priority, before you even think about aggressive investing, is paying that off. We can maybe set a low-rate mortgage aside for a second, but everything else has to go.
So once that anchor is gone, completely gone, we can finally stop playing defense.
Now we can go on offense.
And that leads to the most critical step, the redirect.
The redirect is the pivot. That cash flow, say, all $100 a month that was going to debt payments, it has to be immediately and automatically redirected.
Not fun money.
No, definitely not fun money. You have to be deliberate. Read it first to an emergency fund and then straight into your investment accounts. That's how you build momentum.
Okay, so once we have the surplus and the debt is gone, we shift from protecting capital to, well, aggressively growing it. And this is where the magic really starts to happen.
A time machine.
The time machine of compounding. Path number 3, save and invest consistently.
Compound interest is the engine. I mean, all their sources could not be clearer about this. It's not just your money earning returns. It's your returns earning more returns. It's exponential.
And the earlier you start,
the less you have to put in to get incredible results. It's always about time in the market, not trying to time the market.
The sources are pretty strong on this point. Make it involuntary. Automate it. Set a target, 15, 20%, maybe even more of your income to just go straight from your paycheck to your investments. Don't even let it hit your checking account.
And practically speaking, the first stop is always taking advantage of free money.
The 401k match.
If your employer offers a match, that is a guaranteed immediate return on your money. sometimes 50, sometimes 100%.
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable. If you leave that on the table, you are actively choosing to get wealthy slower.
But the how of investing, this is where I think the average person gets a little lost. The mythology is all about picking the right hot stock.
The genius trade.
Yeah. But does the research really show that patience beats speculation, even for the super rich?
Overwhelmingly, yes.
Yeah.
Most self-made millionaires, unless they're, running a hedge fund, they rely on boring, disciplined strategies. They use low-cost stock market index funds or ETFs.
Things that track the whole market.
Exactly. Why? Because the data is just crushing on this point. Over the long term, something like 90% of professional investors fail to beat the market anyway.
So instead of researching one company for hours, you just own a tiny piece of hundreds of successful companies. And you keep your fees low.
You got it. It removes emotion, it minimizes risk, and it lets compounding do its work at the lowest possible cost. It's the boring strategy that just wins.
Now, saving 15 or 20% is the foundation. But if you really want to shrink that 20 or 30-year timeline, you need to execute path number 4. Proactively increase your income.
Yes.
Because saving 20% of $50,000 is one thing. Saving 20% of $200,000, well, that changes the math completely.
Income is leverage. And this is where you have to take action outside of your budget.
Yep.
The sources point to specific things. Negotiating raises based on your value, strategically changing jobs every few years for a pay bump, and just relentless upskilling.
Can you give some concrete examples of that? Upskilling can feel a little abstract.
Sure. Millionaires tend to focus on niche industry needs. So think about high-demand tech certifications or specialized project management credentials, or even advanced training in skilled trades where experts are really rare.
So it's about creating immediate value for an employer.
Right. And the sources are clear. High earners in fields like tech, finance, medicine, they just accelerate wealth building faster because they have more capital to feed into that compounding machine.
It's a multiplier effect. And it's not just about the main job, is it? The sources all seem to stress that multiple income streams are standard practice.
It's about diversifying your cash flow. That could be income from your investments or from a rental property or from a side business you've managed to scale. The goal is to separate your income from your time as much as you can.
So if one stream slows down, others keep flowing.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move to path number 5, which is the highest risk but also highest reward path. It's what creates true ultra wealth ownership.
This is so critical.
Yeah.
The massive fortunes we see in tech or retail, they come from one thing.
Equity.
Equity. When you own a piece of a rapidly scaling business, you capture the maximum upside. You're leveraging the efforts of hundreds, maybe thousands of people, not just your own.
That's the difference, right? As an employee, you capture the value of your labor. As an owner, you capture the value of the whole enterprise. It takes huge risk, insane hours, but the payoff can be unmatched.
And that's why it's a different path. It is not a relaxed journey. But the sources confirm this is how a huge percentage of self-made billionaires did it. It's the most direct route to exponential wealth.
So those 5 paths are sort of the mechanics of it, but the last 2 are all about the mental game, the discipline you need to actually stay on the path for decades. Path 6 is continuous education.
Which really makes you think about mindset.
Yeah.
Millionaires are lifelong learners. The research says they often spend 30 minutes or more every single day just reading.
And not just for fun.
No, this is proactive learning. Finance, investing strategies, books about their own industry.
And it's more than just books, too. The sources talk a lot about who you surround yourself with, finding mentors.
Right. It shields you from negativity, from bad financial advice. It keeps you in a space where you're constantly being challenged and learning. It's about keeping your knowledge dynamic. If your financial knowledge is static, you're going to fall behind.
And that leads to path number 7, maybe the hardest discipline of all, patience and persistence. If you are hoping for a 2-year plan, well, the sources have a pretty stark reality check.
They do. The average self-made millionaire takes 20 to 30 years.
20 to 30 years.
It's the long game. And to stay focused for that long takes more than just good habits. It takes mental clarity, optimism, goal setting, even daily habits like exercise to maintain focus. That's what stops people from panicking and abandoning the plan during a market crash.
Okay, so we've covered the 7 proven paths, but we have to spend a minute on the dangerous shortcuts. Because the second you start chasing returns that are faster than what the market can sustainably give,
you walk right into a trap.
right into a trap. And these traps are designed to exploit impatience. They reliably separate you from your money.
Often permanently.
Let's start with one of the most common. Pyramid schemes or multi-level marketing, MLMs. The issue isn't really the product, is it? It's the model.
The whole mechanism is about recruiting other people beneath you, not actually selling the product to customers. The data shows over 95% of people who join an MLM lose money.
Wow.
Because the structure is just designed to funnel all the profits to the very, very top. It's built on exploitation, not value.
Then you have the outright frauds like Ponzi schemes. The classic example is Bernie Madoff.
A Ponzi scheme works by promising these fake, unbelievably high returns. They take money from new investors to pay returns to the old investors,
creating the illusion of success.
It's a house of cards. As long as new money keeps coming in, it looks real. The second it stops, the whole thing collapses because there were never any actual investments.
And finally, the modern traps. Lotteries, opportunities that require a huge upfront fee, or these guaranteed crypto pumps and secret trading systems.
This is either pure gambling with extreme risk or it's just outright fraud. The rule of thumb is so simple, but it's essential. If it sounds too good to be true.
It is.
It almost certainly is. If someone is promising you passive $10,000 a month with no effort, they're trying to take your money. Real wealth comes from value creation, patience, and discipline.
So what's the bottom line here for you, the listener? I think the final takeaway from this deep dive is actually really hopeful. Financial freedom is absolutely achievable for a lot of us. It takes that discipline we talked about. No magic needed.
That's right. The key is to just start small. Today, track your spending. Figure out where the money is really going. If you have an employer match, start contributing enough to get it. That's step one.
Then start deploying that capital into those low-cost, broad market funds.
And just let it sit. Over 20 or 30 years, those simple, automated habits, they compound into real wealth.
It's just fascinating how it always comes back to discipline over flair. But that timeline, that 20 to 30-year requirement, that's the real test. It demands sustained effort.
So here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with. We know continuous learning is critical, right? That 30 minutes of reading a day. We know focus habits like exercise are important.
Right.
How critical are those specific mental disciplines, not just for the knowledge they give you, but for maintaining the pure optimism and persistence you need to stay on that compounding path for 2 or 3 decades? Without giving up. That mindset might be the biggest and hardest investment you ever have to make.